Morning, people. We're still waiting for the clicker. The AI is not there yet where I can say change and it'll change. Wonderful. So, my name is Shivakumar Ganesan. People call me Shivku. I started Exotel about 14 years ago. And with great pleasure, I'd like to introduce Mr. Kunal from HDFC Securities. He's been a great partner and brainstorming co-partner for me for a while. Just before coming also, he was giving me 4 tasks to do. But it's amazing that he's traveled all the way from Mumbai so that all of us can learn a little bit about how to scale AI. Kunal, where is your mind at? How do you think about this event?
No, I think so. I'm pretty excited. Didn't know much about SaaS Boomi, honestly. Nia introduced me to SaaS Boomi yesterday, and it was like pretty awesome to know what all SaaS Boomi does. And I'm pretty excited to speak over here and also get a lot of things from various people in terms of how SaaS and AI can actually help power organizations like HDFC.
Fantastic. So for those of you who don't know about HDFC Securities, it's the securities arm of HDFC. Amongst other things, they also help with broking, trading. They have a lot of high net worth customers, and they also, of course, have individual customers as well. Anything specific about HDFC Securities that you'd like to share?
We just completed 25 years, and I can only tell you one thing. If the customers need sound sleep, that is the only thing we need. Because most of our customers are profit making, unlike what SEBI is publishing a report that majority of the discount broking customers are derivatives customers, and the number has only inched by 2%, that 91% of the customer last year in derivatives made losses. We are completely opposite of it. So I can only say that if you want to really make wealth, that is what we try and do, and we do it successfully.
Awesome. So if you're dealing with derivatives, please don't do it all by yourself. Talk to HSL. Okay, so the specific topic that we are going to talk about here is 3 to 4 year journey of the partnership between Exotel and HDFC Securities. What started as a way for HSL to manage work from anywhere, remote calling, if you will, right after COVID, has now slowly transformed into how do we now get more insights, analytics from these conversations, and how do we now make the company even better. Now, at the heart of it, the use case is actually quite simple. There are, 2,000 odd relationship managers of HDFC Securities who are calling into their customers, giving them information about the markets, how to trade, what to trade, where to trade, and things like that. And naturally, AI is now going to capture this conversation and help make HSL better with their processes, make the RM better, and ultimately add more value to the customer. So this is the simple use case. But how we got here is absolutely not simple at all. If you were to ask me to put a demo together for this, I can actually set it up at 12:30. But it's taken us 3 years to get here, and actually we are still not done. So that's the specific point we are going to talk about in this conversation. So there are these branches. Most of you would have seen HDFC Security branches, and then there are relationship managers. And these ladies and gentlemen actually now, apart from entertaining visitors who are coming into the branches, into HDFC Bank's branches, also end up interacting with customers. I think each RM has about 200, 300 odd customers that they manage. And before 3-4 years ago, I think they were mostly calling using their own cell phones, maybe landline calls, etc. And naturally, there was absolutely no way for Kunal to know what is going on there and what are they talking about. Are they selling? Are they mis-selling? All of those kinds of things, right? And I think they started off with some kind of edge solution, which is can we take a phone connection and then I think they did some integration into a CRM. And then we were about to scale that up, but that's when COVID hit. And so the need for having this information, not just at the branch or at the edge, but at the center, at the cloud, then that sort of became quite crucial. And so that's how I think the journey with Exotel started. Any recollections from those days?
Yeah, I think so. Those were exciting days. Let me first say that fortunately, uh, as regard Exotel as well as for HDFC Securities, COVID turned out to be one of the best periods, both from their individual businesses and as a partnership. The markets were amazing, and we had to actually deliver at 5x the capacity. As you may know, whenever the markets are doing good, the broking firms have to significantly work 5x, 10x of their own capacity. And so probably Exotel actually helped there. I think so. It was a time when we were using a lot of legacy technology, and we realized that we need to move to a very transformative technology. Cloud was coming in. There were new technologies for apps that was coming in, like the Flutter and the Reacts of the world, Kubernetes, etc. And so we were actually very busy transforming our core applications. So as you may know today, we have something known as InvestRight, and we have something known as HDFC Sky, which is kind of a full-fledged discount broker, similar to any other discount broker from the HDFC house at the pricing of a discount broker, which is something that everybody looks for. So we were very busy doing that, and therefore we had no time or any kind of a wherewithal to actually look at our own branch technology, our internal telecom, our other technology, how we communicate. And therefore it was all over the place, honestly. And there were experimentations done with multiple vendor, and again we didn't have the bandwidth to really do it. And that's where I think so Exotel pitched in very successfully, and they were able to understand what we were undergoing and what is the kind of market requirement and the demand that was coming, and they were able to provide the timely solutions for that. And that's where the whole partnership started. The first success actually builds a solid foundation for many more things to come. So as we speak, we have now moved into a solution which is something known as a work from anywhere for our employees, which means our employees can be in any part of the country, roaming even on streets, but they will be as if they are in office thanks to Exotel. And this is something which is becoming a very big buzzword internally, because this essentially gives a scale even in non-digital model. Thanks to how basically the streaming services of voice, Exotel has been managed to try and give it in our applications. And also now we are embedding AI with it, and that AI is actually going to make us way more better by interjecting in a hybrid manner vis-a-vis our customer interactions, which will make sure that we are significantly more relevant to customer in our interactions. At the same time, we are significantly sharp. So for every customer that we are doing an interaction, this AI will make sure how it makes much more sense rather than a relationship manager speaking standard narratives, etc. So I think it's been immensely helpful.
Awesome. Were there any objectives that you had through that period of adopting, let's say, edge calling to cloud calling? And then now, do you have any objectives on, now that all the voice is on the cloud, how do you plan to, like, what are your objectives? Like, what do you plan to do with this, with all of this?
Very good question. The first thing to realize is that even though you are a large institution like HDFC, technologies can significantly disrupt you, and therefore you need to adopt these technologies. But it is very difficult for any large organization to easily adopt technology and change everything, because it is impacting millions of customers, and there are a lot of processes that are there which one has to follow, and it is all regulatorily observed, and we cannot have a disruption in any manner. So the objective becomes, to paramount objective is that how do we adopt the latest technology, and how do we cut the clutter and adopt the right ones. So to start with, we said, okay, fine, we'll adopt cloud way back in 2020. It's a very simple thing. Everybody will feel, oh, adopting cloud is like nothing. So I went ahead and used one of the cloud service provider and did all the analytics and everything. 6 months down the line, suddenly my CTO is coming and telling, oh, you don't have a landing zone, scrap it. I was like, whoa. And then suddenly we had to actually scrap it, because to give you a very simple example, let's say we stay in a particular building, then the building can be either gated or not gated. So we need a gated building, and not only we need a gated building, we actually need a complex outside it, which is having one more layer of security, which we beautifully call it a landing zone. Now, if we don't have all these things, which generally startups would not have, then we cannot use it. So, and then there has to be a very secure tunnel to connect the cloud and the on-premise solution. So we didn't had all of those things. So then we realized that changing is very difficult. And that's where probably what we found is that across many telecom players, Exotel actually turned out to be the one which kind of fulfilled all those norms and at the same time came up with a lot of innovative, smart features. And probably to name a few, something that has really worked well with us is basically the whole round-robin technology working very seamlessly within our relationship managers actually gave us significant edge, because earlier customers used to complain that we end up getting into a lot of missed calls and the relationship managers are not picking, and the relationship manager would say, we use landlines, so we don't come to know whose call we have missed, even if we are not there for a minute on our seat or we are talking to another customer over our cell phone. So Exotel solved for it very simply. Not only was able to give a missed call alert, but at the same time giving an option to call them back, and also try and give an options like how basically we can attend another customer while we are talking to other on a real-time basis centrally, and at the same time trying to make sure that the other customer is also there or route it to another relationship manager. Now, this seemed to be a very simple use case, but trust me, Shiv, this is a tremendous solve at our end back there, because the delight to customer is tremendous. And then, right from using these simple things to using a very high sophisticated AI voice analytics, I think so we are in a journey where we look organizations as a partner, startups as a partner, who are able to successfully deliver, come out with innovative solutions on an ongoing basis, and strategically able to integrate with us to try and partner from a long-term basis to constantly create delight for the customers, goes a long way in any partnership, and we look forward to that.
Awesome. So I think usually this call routing technologies are very commonplace in contact centers. I think the innovation that HDFC Securities has done is to take this logic, this idea, and make it available in, I don't know, thousands of branches across the country. I think this is the part which is really cool about what they've done. Okay, so now let's move closer towards AI. So I think this part is already by now pretty clear to all of you from this conversation, which is that trying to do AI work with enterprise is a lot more than just AI, because there are systems, CRM systems, there are legacy systems that are there, and you need to now figure out how to actually make all of this work with that. And no enterprise is ready to just change everything lock, stock, and barrel on day one. So I think as vendors, as partners, this is something that you all should just keep in mind. So one thing that came to my mind was there was one CRM integration that Kunal had asked us, where the CRM partner expected the API to stay untimed out for 20 seconds. And then we were like, hey, this stuff doesn't work. API timeouts are usually in millisecond range. And by the way, that conversation is still going on, right? Should we now change our systems to wait for them for 20 seconds? Should they change the system so that we don't time out? So I think it's just an example of the kind of troubles that you get into. Silly, but the stop progress. Okay, so on the specific point about AI here, what Exotel has done is to now, in the next step of the process, is to now create a quality analysis dashboard using generative AI. And Kunal's team has now deployed this dashboard to the relationship manager so that they are able to now learn more about their own conversations. And it shows sentiment, it shows what they have spoken about. There is a KPI list, if you will, that we've now fed into the system, and then it scores the RMs basis that, and then they get to learn more about what they've done. I think we've sort of rolled it out to about 5% or 10% odd relationship managers today, and so far the results are quite exciting. I have some numbers. First step, of course, is by moving from edge calling to cloud calling, we've now converted 100% of all the conversations is now available for creating insights, tracking generation. So that's one big leap. And so even before AI came in, actually Kunal's team had the ability to now look into calls, download reports, graphs. They obviously already know how many calls people are making, etc. And we've now also rolled the AI-driven insights into to about 5% of the RMs, and this is the start of insight-led coaching. Any anecdotes from the ground that you've heard about how these people like it? How are they using it? Is anything becoming better? Any stories?
The first person to get really excited actually came from an unknown corner of the organization. The head of internal audit popped up and said, "Wow, I just need this because I am now getting everything what these guys are not doing." So she actually ran behind me to say, "I want to meet this company because now I just need to not do anything because now it is going to check each and every SOP. Have you done the right pitch? Have you done all the products pitch? Have you done the pitches of the product which were analytically recommended? Have you been able to have a good tonality in the conversation? Then have you been actually able to counter offer the customer on any pricing?" Now this is amazing because essentially when we are looking at something wherein we are trying to control every conversation. But let me tell you two important things, and now let me come back to this topic of handshake to hyperscale. How do we hyperscale? So I and Shivku were sitting out behind and we were just discussing. I simply said one thing, Shivku, just make sure that your machines only call, your machine only does your SOP, your machine only converts client, your machine only sells, we are just a product. And he has agreed to it. So I am now looking forward to it.
Okay, hopefully we'll get there soon. All right, so what else do we have?
But I can tell you, the teaming that happens within two organization should actually lead to a relationship, obviously by delivery and by working in a manner such that eventually you are able to look at this kind of business models and you are able to try and get this kind of requirements on table, which is actually possible in this age. And this is the only thing that will make us hyperscale, because humanly calling or try and not using technology can only get you there. And with India's population, with the multilinguality you need, and with the kind of geographical penetration you need these kind of hyperscale solutions, and more importantly, you need a trusted partner on an ongoing basis. So that's where we as an organizations look forward to strategically.
Yeah, a couple of things that come to my mind. I want to just say that as technologists, sometimes we feel like enterprises are slow moving and they are very risk averse. Agreed, right? So most of us think about enterprises like this. This is absolutely not true with HDFC Securities. It's not like we sort of walked in with a solution that just worked from day one. We actually co-created this solution with them. Both the teams have actually spent a lot of time working together. I think they understand AI, the impact of AI on business far more than some of the technologists here. So I think so that part I think I give it up to them. And secondly, I see that in HSL there is an ecosystem of things that are coming together for this project to also succeed. He was just talking to me about how they are working with another partner on the data science aspects, because it's one thing to now derive insights from conversation, right? But it's another completely different matter to now say, what does the data actually say and what recommendation is the person supposed to give? These kinds of things, ultimately it needs to come from enterprise data. And that's another project that they are running. And only in the coming together of these two projects will actually, the true value get delivered. So the ecosystem also has to sort of come along.
That's correct. And in fact, just to add to what you said is, see, basically in India, there is no bank-based broker who has successfully become a discount broker as well. We at least made a very honest attempt and are successful to have both the offering, that is the whole invest right and the existing ecosystem for the premium customers, which we have been doing forever. At the same time, now we are close to about 22 months. down with our discount broking offering, that is HDFC Sky as well, which is trying to cater to millions of customers. As you all may know, 4 crore customers coming every year into Indian ecosystems, which are only coming through discount broking, and there are new to market customers. Out of the overall 5 crore that are coming every year, while forever total population that is there into the ecosystem is close to 18 crore customers by now. Now, with this kind of a scale that is happening in discount broking, the purpose of HDFC is to make sure that every Indian participates in the growth that the country is witnessing, and that can only happen through financial inclusion. And unless we use this kind of technologies from the startups, we will never be as nimble, as agile to try and make sure that we are there. Because we are more busy offering the core solutions of how for the customers to make wealth. How do we come out with best of the research so that customers are not misguided and they invest from a long-term perspective? And that's where the startups which bring in technologies in a nimble way, navigate technologies, actually help organizations like us to try and get best of the both world for the customers.
Looks like our time is up, but maybe a couple of how many builders of AI here? Okay, quite a few.
Wow.
So what is your advice, perspective? How should they go about thinking about selling to HDFC Securities or companies such as HDFC Securities?
Oh, that's a like you're giving food for thought or secret recipe to them. Okay, let me try and give it. I'm on the other side of the table. I think so. 3 important things. One is you need to be sure, however small, you have a solution which adds genuine value. That is the first thing. Second important thing is how do you really get foot in the door? Third important thing is how you have been able to embed a lot of domain knowledge into the AI or the machine learning systems. Because AI, at the end of the day, is still dumb, I would say, without a domain knowledge. While it may be able to intelligently do a lot of things, but it is more like humans, and the humans who don't have domain knowledge actually don't have a lot of things how to do. So the domain knowledge has to be built in very well, or they should be really ready to try and make sure how they get a lot of domain knowledge even from HDFC and give it. Once they are able to do these 3 things, they can pitch their products to HDFC. And then probably they need to make sure how it is exposed to millions of customers at a very fast scale. Because the moment it is exposed to a lot of customers, the product maturity happens very quickly. And that is the only way product maturity can happen, which essentially will help them to take it to larger market outside HDFC as well. And their growth and valuations and funding, etc., everything happens as a follow. By the way, you have still not agreed for a funding that we want to give.
Soon. Okay. Happy vibing, guys. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. It was excellent speaking to you all.
Thank you so much. Just a quick token of appreciation from Asta and Neha.